Hi, this is Christina Jones again, graduate student in the Brian Lamb School of Communication at Purdue University, who worked with Dr. Mohan Dutta on the Voices of Hunger photo voice exhibit. What you're about to see next is a series of interviews with different stakeholders on the project, including members of the local food insecure community, workers at the local food bank, as well as members of the research team.
Your experience today with this event, having to dialogue with clients?
It's been a really valuable experience for me to hear directly from the clients who use the services that we facilitate. Because we usually work with the pantries and not with the clients, we don't always hear that full story. So I've got a list of things that I want to go back and do right away to try to make it a little better, and then long term it makes me realize we need our own pantry.
So what are some of those little things that you sort of take away from today?
Well, for example, we have one pantry that I just learned is telling people that if they haven't paid their union dues to their labor union, they cannot get food from that pantry. And that's just strictly illegal because they're taking the government food that has to be given out to anybody who comes and says their income is low enough to get it. So that's one thing. And then another thing is I have a pantry that's not letting a single person have meat other than canned tuna, and that's not allowed either. It's a violation of civil rights to give one person a chicken because they have a child or a husband, and give another person a can of tuna because they don't have a husband or a child.
Wonderful. Going forward then, what are the kinds of things you foresee in terms of this group? You know, they've been interested in coming together systematically. What value could that have, do you think?
I think that just having an advisory group of clients that can help inform our decisions about what products to put our limited resources towards. So, for example, the corn that they said they don't want. I really thought, people would take lots and lots of corn and be happy for it. That's not the case. It also gives me some ammunition. When our pantries tell us that they don't want fresh produce, I now know that their clients do want fresh produce. They may not want the hassle of a product that's going to go bad, but the clients want that. So that gives me more ammunition to try to get that done.
Excellent. And then finally, what steps would you like for us as the class is wrapping up, but as a project going ahead, what steps would you like us to take in sort of building this collaborative further?
I guess I like the idea of having somebody from the class be a facilitator for a group that meets regularly, just because our staff is really limited in how many meetings we can add, so that would be really helpful. And then having the written materials and the photographs would be useful for us. I'd like to have photographs of the clients too.
Wonderful.
If that's available.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Hi. First I want to say how very grateful I am for any help I've received to the community, and we've all talked about this. It could happen to anybody. It's a health issue or a job loss away from food, and I wanted to get the awareness up that there is a lot of help out there, but people just don't know about it or they're too proud to come, and they should take advantage of all the help you can get.
Food that we get from the food pantries and stuff, and many nights, we go to bed hungry because the food we got, we don't really want to eat it, and we're not hungry for that food. So you go to bed hungry, you get up hungry, but sooner or later you have to eat some of the food that you get. So you're really grateful for the food you get, but you're still hungry, all the time.
So what are some of the solutions you think that our meeting today came up with that we should be looking at moving forward?
Well, I like the way they said that they're going to have more, if they give away that stuff every Friday. And then they're going to have on June 28th, there's another drop off for the food. And they're trying to work with all the people to do better on the food pantry and have their own food pantry. And so I think, things are moving along pretty good on getting it a little better. And it's just going to take a long time. It took this long to get here. It's going to take long to get to where we want to go.
So what is your experience with hunger and food insecurity?
It's been a good experience, but there's times when I get very depressed, times that I get angry. Sometimes my blood pressure skyrockets because I have to stop and think about what I'm doing. If it were just a normal everyday act like driving or taking a shower or going to sleep at night, if it was normal like those things, my day-to-day activities, it would be okay. This is something that I have to strive to do. It's like a job. I have to plan out what food pantry I'm going to go to, at what day, at what time. I have to make sure I have transportation. I have to make sure that I'm going to be able to be there at the time they're open. And then I have to make sure that if there is any frozen food, that I'm able to get back home in time for that food to be able to remain frozen. So it's like a job. The experience is good, and it also, sometimes I'm not treated very well. Some of the older people at the churches, sometimes they tend to look down on people like us, and that's not right, because we're just like them. We're humans. My husband and I have the knowledge of knowing that metals are valuable. You can go driving around and finding metal in the trash. You can collect cans. You can collect anything metal at all. Then you have to bring it home, and you have to be able to break it down. Like all wire has copper in it. If you can tear the wire apart and get to the copper inside, that's called clean copper, and you can turn that in for money. We go to Oscar Winsky's probably 3 times a month and turn in the metals that we have found or that we've bought. And sometimes we buy metal at garage sales if it's brass. My husband carries a magnet in his pocket, because the magnet determines what metal it is. He can tell you whether it's stainless steel or steel, and the different metals gives you different prices. So you haul in the metals to Oscar Winsky, and they give you money, and this money helps us be able to have gas to drive to the food pantries and to be able to buy some of the things that we do need. My husband is on Medicaid, and so his medications are $3 for each medication, but he takes 5. So every month we have to spend, that would be $15 a month on his medications, and sometimes more depending on if we need to see the doctor or if I have to go to the doctor. So this money helps us be able to afford to do those things.
Take out of our meeting today.
The communication and the word of mouth that I got from this program. The pantries I know is just in my little area. I didn't know there were other pantries around in the other area. And I got word of mouth where I met friends. And I got a lot of good information from this program.
Wonderful. And what's one recommendation you would have as we move ahead?
More communication.
That's short and simple. Thank you, Menetta.
Exciting at first, simply because I think we went into the idea of this class not really having a class project in mind, and then we started throwing ideas around, and this project just kind of got handed to us by Pauline, and it was really exciting at that point to know that we had something directed where we could apply CCA and see it in action and see how it can help the community. So we've done everything from volunteering at Food Finders to doing the interviews, and now the photo voice training, and finally actually seeing it all come together has been excellent. So it's really been informative to see a culture-centered project as it has kind of come to play in a real-world setting.
And how was it being at today's meeting, Christina? What was the one thing that stood out at you?
It's so outstanding to see the people who have so many things to say about the organization in direct contact with those who actually implement the policies and are there to, I mean, it's nice to see someone at the organization who's really clearly involved and interested in what the people in the community have to say. So it's nice that there was that clear interaction between the two, and you saw the potential for collaboration and for them to form this coalition and have a say in more than just one way. So
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we took the time first to just really get to understand what is CCA and how do you actually utilize it, and where does it come from and why it has come to where it has. And what we did was we did in-depth interviews with individuals who are food insecure in the community, and then took the opportunity to bring them together for a focus group and involve them in a photo voice portion of the project. And I think from there we've really learned what it means to be food insecure is here in Lafayette, which I'm beginning to see is unique in this community as compared to probably others around.
What was the relevance of today's meeting? What stuck out at you?
Today's meeting was really to bring all parties together and allow the individuals who are food insecure to really share their stories and their experiences. And what I really think came out of this meeting that I found extremely fascinating was the fact that there was a lot of dialogue that really began to take place between food finders and the individuals within our group, and even for them to be able to receive information and for these individuals to say, I didn't know that. And I think, to me, that was one revelation to say there's more information that needs to be shared with these clients of food finders so they can better understand why it is that they're getting some of the food that they're getting. And to me, it just really revealed why it's important to have that two-way communication streak going on with all the parties. And it was, I think, invaluable, actually. So do they?
Thank you.
I'd like to talk about the experience in this project in two ways. One is the learning experience, and then the other one is the live humbling experience I gathered from it. From the learning experience, I think it's been very exciting and a unique opportunity to really get to understand how CCA project functions in real life context. It's not all that academic. I remember one of the interactions we had with one of the participants, and he said, this is what education is all about, and this is what education should do, bringing about meaningful impact and impacting people's lives in a very meaningful way. So that was a humbling speech and very powerful statement from the participant for me. From the humbling part of it, on the other part, I would say we started this project by volunteering at food pantries and various food delivery organizations, and the exercise was so humbling, particularly given the fact that I had my supervisor on this project who would volunteer with me at the same time, and we were sorting food. And then we had the opportunity of interacting with people who actually needed food or who were experiencing different kinds of difficulty. Coming from the African setting where we think that America is all rosy, and then we went to communities, remote communities where we would see people that are actually in need, was a humbling experience. So in that sense, I think this project kind of connects theory to practice and then kind of humbled me most.
Thank you.
What you've just witnessed are a series of conversations that occurred during the Voices of Hunger Photo Voice exhibit. With this project, we aimed to open up spaces for communication and dialogue in the community, as well as spaces for change related to hunger and hunger issues. Thank you for watching, and if you need more information, feel free to contact us.